What a trip.
Hey, it was your magic school bus adventure today.
Adventure is one way to phrase it. You know, our trip to the Christmas tree farm is always one for making memories. But this year was a very different situation, one the kids will never forget.
That's a good thing, right? Making memories?
Well, sometimes it's a good thing for making memories, but we had a minor complication today in our travel arrangements.
What kind of minor complication?
Well, you know me, Katie. I'm not afraid to take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. But let's just say that the bus was getting on the bus in the beginning was the only normal part of our field trip today. Well, first, I'm an excellent driver, and it's a good thing I was driving because you really needed to have an excellent driver for this one. You really needed that. And because as I was pulling onto the road, it was kind of a gravelly road, a little bumpy, one of the compartments opened up and boxes started flying out of the school bus, and they were all over the kids.
Yikes, did anyone get hurt?
Well, just a few paper cuts, not too bad. But one of them hit the turn signal and destroyed the turn signal. But don't worry, because Mrs. Bigham came to the rescue, and she was our turn signal. She put her arm out the right window if we were going right. She put her arm out the left window if we were going left. And we handled that. She was our human blinker.
Wow, it sounds like she deserves a big promotion.
Indeed. Oh my goodness, that must have been quite a sight.
Well, people were looking at us, so that's for sure. But then, as I was making another sharp turn, Preston's seat collapsed, and he fell into his seat, and he could not get out of his seat. And Mrs. Bigham, of course, helped. She came and she was pulling and pulling, but she could not get him out of the seat. So she was wonderful. She sat down next to him and encouraged him and kept him from being too upset.
You did safely extract him before coming here, didn't you?
Well, yes, of course, don't worry. We did take care of that. But a moment later, our bus hit a bump and all the windows began to crack. But I am always prepared, and I had duct tape with me. So I just kept tossing duct tape back to the students, and they were tearing off the duct tape and taping up the windows.
Wait a minute. Duct tape on all of the windows?
Well, it's better than glass flying all around, and we handled it. But unfortunately, one of the windows didn't get taped up right, and it blew out and kind of sucked one of the students out the window. Oh, no, don't worry. We handled it. Mrs. Bigham was still preoccupied helping Preston, who was stuck in his seat. So I got out my exercise bands that I always travel with, and I looped them through the steering wheel and worked my way back through the bus.
You're kidding. You have to be kidding me. You kept driving with a kid out the window?
Well, you did make me promise to get back for hot lunch. But it was okay because it was Lizzie Sinikowski, and she thinks she's Superman anyway. And just as I got her pulled back in, Mrs. Bigham got Preston popped out of the seat.
Finally, some good news.
I suppose. Anyway, in the process, the seat came loose and it flew out the back door. And so Mrs. Bigham reached for the back door, but as the door flew open, she flew out the door, and she was holding onto the door.
While the bus was still moving?
Well, yes, but don't worry, because we got her back in.
Please tell me that this is all that happened. There can't be more.
Well, the door did fall off in pieces.
What?
Well, I checked out the back door, and I checked out the bus, and it still seemed drivable, so I got back up to the steering wheel, and just as I sat down, some car came in front of me, and I had to slam on the brakes. And then 2 or 3 seats came loose and went flying flying out the door. At this point, I knew he'd already missed the beginning of lunch, so I had to kind of move things along. I threw back a few more rolls of duct tape and figured the kids could handle the situation. I have smart kids.
But they're only in kinder. No more stories. I can't take any more stories.
Well, there's only one little bit more. Hold your horses.
Oh, maybe we should have sent her with horses instead of the bus.
Well, not a bad idea for horses, but as we approached exit 11 on I-90, we hit the Grand Canyon of potholes in New York State, and the bus began to shake, and I was worried that the walls would fall off. So I logically decided to have the kids link their arms together to hold the sides of the buses up. We knew we were approaching that downward slope in I-90, so I called back to Mrs. Bigham to throw out the emergency sleds.
The emergency sleds? Please tell me no one jumped out the back on I-90.
Oh, no worries, no worries. The walls of the bus made it all the way back to school. The students thought that it was a great adventure, and they leaped out the back door. It was conveniently open already, singing, "The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round."
All right. Please tell me this is the end and there are no more stories.